Let me ask you a question. What or how do you build your set list, like depending on, what's available, what's traditional, old school, choir, hymnal, original, like how do you build your set list?
Bro, I think that building a set list is so important. Number one, you have to look at the house that you're building the set list for.
Yes.
So if I'm at my home church, I'm going to build a set list or think about songs that helps unite us or that helps bring people in, because I feel like there's always a message, but there's a need for unity in praise and worship because we're one. We are to be with one accord.
That's
so
good.
we have to think, okay, what can bring people together? What helps light a fire in people? What sound will they respond to? And this is why this conversation is so important, because people say, oh, well, you don't want to build your set or make your decisions based off the people, only, on God and what you hear God saying. Yes. However, there's so much multitasking that you have to do when it comes to worship leading.
Yeah.
In order to be well-rounded, you need to include what the people are tasting as you're cooking in your decision making.
And that's why I like getting an understanding of what the people you serve, what is their palette. One medley I enjoyed putting together was I took Graves in the Gardens by Elevation Worship and fused it with I Call You Faithful by Donnie McClurkin. And it brought to life, because they're familiar with Graves in the Garden, but even though I Call You Faithful is still contemporary worship, it brought to life something that, reminds them of a lot of where they came from and the types and stylings of music that they would do. And it was a beautiful mesh for a multi-generational church to experience.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the reasons why I would say, as far as the set list, it's great to have throwback songs and familiar songs in the mix. There's so much to your job as a worship leader, but throwing in songs that will trigger a response within the people is a great element of it. And I say that because you ever just be in the middle of a set and you start singing a hymn, or you connect it to an older song that we used to sing that we don't sing as much no more, and the timing is right, and the Holy Spirit just inspired you, and you just see a reaction and a response, and it almost like it unlocks something in the people. I think that is so important. That's why music library is a really good thing to have.
Yes.
You need to have a good library when it comes to worship music and when it comes to praise music.
Grow your library.
Yes, and know the songs that the church knows. Know the songs that the church is used to, because a lot of times it's those familiar songs that can unlock something.
Yes, sir.
In them and cause them to kind of like tap in. Like, what's one that RCF loved? I know RCF. I could go to this song any day of the week. And
like No Time, or just any song?
Any song at all.
Because I know if I grab the mic and say, oh, you're my
That
sustainer, and oh, I know that'll ignite a praise in the house.
Yes.
You got your back packet. You always got your back pocket Jones that you could pull out. If I'm at Remedy, it's gonna be Come and Move. That's the church's song. Come and Move. Omema, they love Omema.
You gotta know.
If Chandler Moore sung it, they probably like it. But yeah.
No, I think that's so key. And also it makes me think of times that doesn't work and
Yeah.
how you handle that. I can think of times where I've sang songs and it just did not seem to connect at all. Or I went into this hymn, or I went into, and I reference hymns a lot because they're songs that a lot of people know if you grew up in church or you are older or your church does them. It's something easy to connect to, but everybody's church is not going to connect to a hymn.
Right.
And so I've referenced different hymns or older songs, and it just didn't seem to connect. And it's like gauging that and learning from that experience is important too, because sometimes we're musically inspired and we want to give so much because we have so much to
Yeah.
give to the people, to the congregation, but
And
it's
some
not always time.
and sometimes we're impatient because what Apostle DT taught me was sometimes you gotta wait. You have to don't. If I was to say anything to any worship leader, current worship leader, is don't allow the space to make you nervous to where you don't wait to hear God
Yeah.
before you move on. Because when we don't get the reaction in our human response, we become nervous. But if we're not going for the reaction, we have to wait and listen to the voice of God. Because sometimes that's where that trust comes in. Sometimes a rebuke is necessary. Other times you need to see into the atmosphere and you need to speak to the wind. You need to speak to the atmosphere. You need to speak into the moment and you need to give word for what's happening. Every worship leader should always come with a word.
Yes.
Got to come with a word.
It's such a prophetic position because you have to be ready to release what God is saying. And you have to go with what God is doing in the moment.
Yeah.
And you have to be just ready. And I think a lot of times we are not always ready for whatever.
We're not.
Sometimes we want to go with what's planned. Any planners out there, I love planning. I love going with the plan because I don't like to mess up. I feel like, okay, I may not always be good on the spot. But you have to learn preparation with being ready for the moment.
Yeah. Because they work together. God honors order, but also sometimes when the order is given and we start to flow, God starts to speak.
You're right.
So it's not out of order to go outside of the original order, but it's going in the flow of the Spirit.
Right. Exactly.